You want to talk about getting up in your feelings. You want to talk about getting up in your feelings. I'm about to get up in my feelings right now. We already had a video. We already have a video in KD. We already go watch it. If you haven't seen it, you will hear everything I have to say about that boy.
That was a live stream, actually. Yeah, we did that.
Well, no, we talked about
KD.
Was it our last stream on YouTube?
No, it was one or two before.
Yeah. Because then we talked about Ben.
We did the live stream with KD.
Funny how we keep talking about Brooklyn.
Oh my goodness! You would think we're Brooklyn fans, which neither of us are. Never have been,
or even necessarily Brooklyn haters, which we're not. Don't let the Yankees hat fool you. I actually have no feelings one way or the other about the Mets. I have no feeling about the Brooklyn Nets one way or the other as a basketball team historically, or even when they were the Jersey Nets. Whatever.
I still call them occasionally.
I mean, sure. No. What I have a problem with are freaking multi-millionaires. You're not in Hollywood. This is sports.
Yeah, leave that to LeBron and Russell Westbrook out west. I mean, no, sorry, go ahead.
Fine, fair enough. Fair enough. Although I'd still
today, Hollywood.
But again, at the very least, you can't say LeBron's not trying, and in his own weird way,
I don't want to sidetrack you. Yes,
trying,
no, absolutely, yeah.
But
yeah,
but see, that's the thing. That's the point. And it spins off of Ben Simmons, and just like all of the Lakers' problems can't be blamed on Russell Westbrook, all of the Brooklyn Nets problems can't be blamed on Ben Simmons, even though he has his own
before he got there.
Problems. They've got their own.
They had their own brand of crazy long before Ben Simmons. In fact, I'm gonna stay away from. I'm gonna attempt not to say anything more about Ben Simmons when we go into this, because you and I both know, and you're heading down this road. I'm just pushing. They got their own brand of crazy.
Yes,
right there before Ben Simmons ever got it introduced into here. So put Ben Simmons. This is no longer his fight. There's that special kind of crazy when it comes to Kyrie.
And again, you know, if they had the New Jersey name on top of I could halfway make a joke about the fumes off the Jersey Turnpike coming off and maybe causing some problems, but good God. Oh, man. The conversation is also similar to what I was talking about in the last video about Westbrook. It's not just about the now.
No.
We're talking about entire careers that have starting to bear light here since the pandemic hit, especially. But ultimately, you're talking about two dudes that really need to, and I got hey YouTube, I've got one. They need to get over their fucking feelings and get to work. Period. It's unacceptable. It is flat out unacceptable. You're talking about a guy who basically come along and it's like, oh, it's a flat earth, it's a flat earth. You know what also is flat? A freaking basketball court, you son of a bitch. You go out there and do your job and play.
So you're grouping them together. I'm going to split them apart because I think it's a different kind of crazy.
Oh, it is. It is.
And I don't even know that, to be fair to KD, I'll say this and then I'll jump over to the real crazy one.
Sure.
The KD, if you put a sane person in an asylum, does the sane person make everybody else well and significant, great members of society with good level heads and everything? No. That's not how that works.
That's fair.
You put someone sane, let's say 100%, like there's no defects, and KD came in with defects. Like let's be real.
Sure.
He came in with some ego issues and some
thin skin,
little brother problems when it comes to like the LeBrons and whose team, if he won the championships out west, or was it really Steph Curry and stuff like that. So he's got his own thin skin stuff, but fairly sane if you're he's an athlete.
Oh no,
okay,
that's my problem with him is
Kyrie's crazy.
Yeah.
Is not new. It went from, so he's in Brooklyn now. We knew about it in Boston. In fact, that's why he went to Boston, because he couldn't handle,
again, LeBron James effect. Yeah.
He couldn't handle being with LeBron. No. He couldn't handle being second fiddle to LeBron. Well, you're not LeBron, so you're not that good. I don't understand why all of these streams or all of these videos, I am somehow defending LeBron. I'm very disappointed in my own self, but I digress.
But you can't blame him. You can't blame him where the fault really isn't
it's not
his.
him.
No.
So, you know what? Oh, so he was in Cleveland. Kyrie was in Cleveland. Maybe it's just started when he became a professional athlete. No. Nope. Scoot on back on to Duke. Same deal. Crazy.
Yep.
And it has just progressively gotten worse. If there was ever an athlete that I would say screams super athlete, but has been in this weird shell that a lot of athletes get into when they're 13, 14, 15 because they're a good athlete and no one tells them no. Right. It's Kyrie. Oh man, everything that you say is great. It's such a wonderful idea. No, sometimes you're a moron. Sorry.
And I think someone like Kyrie is also a great example, and then maybe even a Ben Simmons. There's something to be said about people coming into money, because if you don't take the right approach and realize that you need to shift your mindset, ultimately all that money's going to do is bear out the worst parts of you. Yeah.
It's really people say money changes you. No, it just makes you really who you are.
Right. And so really, like, you need to change yourself because of the money.
Yes.
And then start to take it serious and start taking certain aspects of your life more seriously. And guess what? You can live it up. And when you decide to live it up, you can really live it up. But
and your opinions, when you have money, you think matter. And sometimes your opinions are crazy.
Yeah. Even though they don't necessarily, like, that money does not make your that shit crazy takes
it's
any more
crazy.
Palatable, Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened to KD. I think KD's own. That's probably a bad segue. I don't think money has changed KD. I think we all have our own weaknesses. Like I've got weaknesses. You got weaknesses.
You hit the nail. You hit the nail on the head with KD. I think it stems with the fact that KD's not a Charles Barkley. If you think about, if you look at like a Charles Barkley, he knows what MJ's doing over in Chicago.
Of course.
Barkley's just like, screw that crap. But screw that crap. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna keep working on my stuff and do my stuff. And I mean, look, bottom line, Charles Barkley's a Hall of Fame freaking basketball player. That's nothing to fucking write off. That's a good career. Yeah. He didn't let MJ completely screw up his head to the point that he really couldn't like be driven and know that he could play at a certain level. He didn't have that soft skin. He didn't have that effect on him that I'm seeing LeBron James have on KD right now.
I have not this stream. And let us know in the comments below what you think of this.
Yeah.
We need to do a video on the effect of, so back in the day, if you didn't win a ring, it wasn't as big of a deal.
Not
it was bad. Like you always wanted to win a ring. It wasn't. It's not that. But it wasn't. You're a failure as a human being and a basketball player.
Yeah.
If you don't have a ring, and so you got a whole bunch of guys. But that's not the case now. So now everybody just chases rings. So you got, James Harden jumping from 15 different teams. We're gonna get to him. Just don't worry.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Harden.
Little setup for that. You got that's playing into KD a little bit with the rings and stuff like that. It's definitely playing into LeBron. He's trying to pass at least Kobe, if not Michael, just so he can say he's better, which he's not.
Never gonna happen, but
not. It doesn't matter. But all of those, has it gotten to a point that really the ring has become, I don't want to say devalued because that is the end game of everything. But just having one is just such a
I think
like the
problem
count has become such a big deal.
Yeah, I think really, unfortunately, it is the Jordan effect.
Yeah.
Because you have, and this is where especially if I don't know, we were
I don't want
to
sidetrack us. Like
I think it's a key point. I think it'd be a good thing to talk about here because if you remember, I can't remember, it was a couple of streams ago. This is back on Twitch where you and Sith were kind of going through the whole GOAT situation, and my whole thing was that we need I was kind of more playing mediator through it, and it was more of like, okay, first and foremost, we have to take the conversation away from the rings. Because one, I think that's
a part, but they're not the only part.
It's not a part, but it's not the only part. But also, I think it's a disservice to both of those guys. To one, because there's so much more to Michael Jordan's legacy than just the 6 rings. But at the same time, there's also so much more to what, say, like a LeBron James can do on the court and what he's able to do, other than the fact that he doesn't have the 6 rings. I think it's an unfair metric necessarily to look at when you're really trying to look at the player and what they're able to achieve. It's a component, it's a factor in a multifactorial analysis of looking over at the career. But to your point, I think because of that too, so you have a different metric right now. I think you have the Jordan effect kind of lingering on, but then you also have like the LeBron effect. And it's also, in a weird way, because he doesn't have as many rings, it also feels like, oh, wait a minute, I've got a lower bar here. Oh, if I can just get more rings than LeBron, or maybe even match up to Kobe with like 5, 6. So with Kobe again, like this other thing, they've been talking about like this whole like GOAT conversation and not talking about Kobe.
Everybody forgets Kobe.
Bullshit. But okay, Kobe with his 5, Magic had 5. So you're in that conversation with that then. And it's like, but okay, LeBron only has how many? Right. Okay. Well, now I can at least get close to him, or even if I can match up with what Kobe had, I don't have to get to Jordan. Because for the longest time, it was like, oh, how the hell did we beat Bill Russell?
Sure. Yeah, that's where the numbers, I mean, if we really go into the ring counting, if you go true ring counting, then I mean Robert Horry has 7.
Well, but I'm talking about you have to talk about like players as like star players who were like concrete like MVP level players for that team during those championship runs, right?
Exactly.
Which is where Horry was a great journeyman in the league, and I'm not knocking Horry for this.
He had a great career. But no one's confusing him as an all-star.
No. It's more about that what role did you play on that? Like, I'm sorry, but if you're sitting on the bench the whole damn time, you got a ring, but buddy.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But I think there's an impact there, especially to someone like KD, who by all rights, I mean, you still have people talking about him just as far as like just overall skill level. Just talking about him, you still have some of the talking heads say that he's the best player on the court until Greek Freak came through and really started to show everyone up. But when a time before that, you pretty much had LeBron James and Kevin Durant going back and forth and back and forth. And you've got a Kevin Durant who definitely, has the skill set, has similar to LeBron, but in a different way of like, especially when he first came in, a very unique build for the type of player that he was, and someone who has just an incredible skill set, especially early on from a scoring perspective. But then he also started to develop himself as a very solid help defender. Which is, again, something I talked about where we were talking about the Ben Simmons playing center thing. It's a big part of the reason why that could potentially work is because of the fact that KD at the 4 could be such a good help defender. He's got such great skill set and he's got all this talent in the world, but now you've got this guy here in the league at the same time. It's like Marino playing against Montana.
Right.
It's he's
grabbing all the headlines. All
what
I
do you
is hear
I'm
about
doing
him.
everything I can, and by all other metrics, I'm a freaking stud.
Yeah.
But I got this other guy over here, and it's just, and especially to get there to that point means that you didn't deal with that before. Not really.
Yeah. No.
And so now that's where KD, again, so you're talking about like the put up or shut up thing, kind of with KD, get over it.
Yeah.
Because you're not helping anybody. You're not helping anybody with it. You are not helping anyone with that mentality.
And very much so yourself.
Exactly. But also then from Kyrie, it's a similar thing. Sorry, you spoke to us like I don't think KD's crazy. I just think he's soft.
Yeah.
And with Kyrie, no, he's just nuts and just needs to get out of his own damn head. And I'm sorry,
Kyrie
like this whole like
thinks he's smart.
No.
And wants to be the leader. And people keep not following him. The perfect example for Kyrie, as far as he wants to be a leader, but he's just not a leader. That's what it kind of comes down to. But he's very determined that he is.
Right.
When the pandemic hit, and he was like, "We shouldn't be playing." And whether you feel they should or shouldn't, that's not my point here. My point is, he was like, "Oh, we shouldn't be playing. We shouldn't be playing. Golly gosh darn it. I think I'm so smart because I'm now a doctor." Okay. So, and he was going with all these random facts that he was coming up with as far as why they shouldn't be playing. This is back, like I said, pandemic hitting, the bubble, all that stuff. And I think Patrick Beverley, who was we would never confuse Patrick Beverley as just a follower that's even like he routinely would fight with the stars. Like he wasn't and he was like, whatever Bron says is what we're doing. So I don't know even why we're talking about it. And he wasn't on LeBron's team at the time. This wasn't, I mean, he's there now, but he wasn't on, they weren't together.
He was actually,
they were
he was actually
sort of
on that
rival.
that Clippers. Yeah.
And he was just like, whatever LeBron says is what we're doing. Like, what do we even, and, Kyrie's oh my God, like totally we should be doing this because I read this one time at band camp that we should, this knucklehead. So that's Kyrie. And he's just followed. That has been him over and over. And he's just, the older he's gotten, the worse it's gotten. Usually you can chalk it up to a young player or, youth and things like that. It's with him, it's just getting worse.
He's been in the league long enough. He was already a veteran by that point in time.
You're an adult man. You should be able to, some of this is just growing up.
Yeah.
And he's just, it's like I said, it just keeps getting worse. Last year with the, he wasn't going to take the vaccine and it was killing his team. And again, not getting into the vaccine stuff. I don't really whatever.
No, that's not really where there's enough.
But when you add that on to all of the other times that he has shown bad judgment, or misplaced judgment, I guess I should say, then I mean, this is a track record of there's a problem with Kyrie's not a leader.
Yeah.
And he's got his own brand. He thinks he's a lot smarter and a lot more up here when he's more like
again,
here.
this
Good,
is
solid in the middle, but you're in the middle, man.
This is something. This is, and again, not trying to go too far down the road about whether people believe what they believe about the vaccines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's again where maybe I'm a bit too old school from a sports perspective, especially
I know where you're going,
and not even counting the fact that I'm getting paid millions of dollars here. I'm talking about my responsibility to my teammates.
Yeah. Above all, you never hurt your team.
You never hurt your team. You don't leave a man behind. You don't.
No.
You don't. If I really felt strong about it,
you don't put yourself above the team.
Well, but let me finish this. Me personally, what I would say is that I would get all the tests that I possibly could to show that I wouldn't be at any kind of a health risk for getting the vaccine. And if it proved out that I wasn't, regardless of whatever my qualms were about it, I'd get it. So I could be there for my team.
Yeah, I think but Kyrie has routinely shown the vaccine is the most recent one. But Kyrie has always shown
it's a history
being the guy.
It's a history.
I'm different. I'm special.
Right.
You all just don't understand how smart and special I am.
Right. Enough so whether even if he had a legitimate reason behind it.
It's
the timing of it and the history of him.
The boy that cried wolf.
Yeah. Exactly. There's just enough of that there in his history where it makes you kind of think, what was this really about?
Is this really about the vaccine, or do you just need some screen
something
time
because it's drawing attention to you, and you have so it's
me,
something
me.
that you're going to get some screen time for.
He's the blonde diva girl that she's oh my god, like tell you guys, you gotta see me. Oh,
and it is unfortunate because you could have some people that could really have some more legitimate discussions around it, but it was Kyrie that was more of that face of that. And you're right, because of his history, because of things that he's said in the past and the way he's acted in the past, it doesn't prove out that he's really much more than anything than someone who's trying to get the spotlight to him any way he can.
If you were on the other side, if you're on the anti-vax side, you should have gone, actually, no, it's okay if you don't.
I'm surprised.
Maybe we could.
I'm surprised he's not. I'll tell you this, I'm surprised he's not banging a Kardashian or was banging a Kardashian like somebody else over that's not at Brooklyn, but still part of the Brooklyn Four because he just left from there and still, again, a whole nother kind of crazy.
To get to where he's been clamoring to get to really the whole time since he left Houston. Brooklyn was I'll go there. But where he wanted to go was the 76ers. But Houston was not about to send him there.
Right.
Because of Morey. I always mess up his name. Darryl. GM that was in Houston, and he got fired or quit in Houston. And then he went to the 76ers, who adores James Harden. I don't quite get the fascination, but he adores James Harden. He was, he's the one that, and again, you don't hear GMs do this very much. So I don't really have a problem with James Harden liking him. I mean, I like people that would think I'm way better than I probably am. I would like that too. But, they were talking about comparing James Harden being a better offensive player than Michael Jordan and all this, just so many things. I'm like, oh, wow, that's...
He had the opposite of the Krause problem. He had the exact opposite of the Krause problem.
Perfect. Yes, that's good.
There's a weird kind of just dementia that is hard to explain.
What is going on here?
That is, and again, so here's the thing about Harden.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, talking
Put up or
about
shut
all
up.
of put up or shut up. And again, it's like my take on Russell. Check it out in our last video. And what I've been talking about in this video, it really doesn't have to do with where they are right now. It's more about the resume.
For sure.
Right? Because, you think about trying to, I talked about like the stud salesperson that I said, like, really outside of the fact that they've got killer sales numbers, really have no business being employed otherwise. Right? These folks that I've mentioned, they're getting close to the point where, well, you know what? The overall sales numbers looking over the cross. Yep, you had a really good peak here at a good point, but now you're on a decline, buddy. And now all of that crap that we put up with, along with the last 5 employers that you had.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
You're the hot girl. Ooh, you're 18, 21. Ooh, you are just the baddest thing walking, and we can deal with you being crazy.
Put up with all your, but talk about like that hot crazy
the
line,
hot crazy ratio.
But
that's a real thing.
But there's also there's another dynamic to that, and unfortunately, that's time.
Yes,
that just
time
starts
always levels out everything else.
Time always wins.
Yeah,
time always wins.
Whether it's ability on the basketball court, it's looks, it's sales, or whatever
it is.
Time wears away all of that.
Yep.
What are you bringing to the table?
What are you bringing to the table that bears
that is a value for
time
for me?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you were a pretty girl. You were. So no one's trying to bang you now. So what else you got?
Well, so as always, we've had
whatever.
We've had the discussion about the pure athlete.
Sure.
Right. From a coaching perspective, maybe even like a GM perspective, it's like, okay, great. If really ultimately all you bring to the court, the field, the diamond, whatever, is pure athleticism, okay, fine. I can get maybe 2, maybe 3 good years out of you. But the thing is that but if you never improve and never develop skill, no true skill that's outside of your athleticism, then guess what? I'm gonna get, you're 3-4 years in, I'm gonna have someone come in who's gonna be a better
first
athlete.
Ankle injury, the knee injury, the first time any of that peak athleticism gets a little tarnish.
But here's the trick. Here's the trick about James Harden. James Harden, again, like Ben Simmons, like Russell, like KD, like Kyrie Irving, actually does have some incredible skills. And it's just more a matter of tweaking
this year,
and in a way, especially
games.
And especially here, it's kind of like you got to kind of put Simmons and Russell in one camp because each of them also have kind of some limitations on the court that start to kind of eat away at things. But when you look at KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, they have all the skill in the world and they still have it.
Yeah. It may be not quite the shine that it used to be, but it's still there.
It is all in their head. Every bit of it is in their head.
Harden right now is averaging, and now this was never Harden's issue. He was a good stat stuffer as well. We talked about Westbrook. Harden was a good stat stuffer as well. So Harden's, granted 5 games, season's early, young. He's averaging 25, 8, and almost 10. So 8.2 rebounds, 9.6 assists.
Okay.
Offensively, he's always been really good. Borderlining great, if not great. He disappears in the playoffs and things like that, so that whole soft thing kind of kicks in.
Defensively,
there are so many clips.
Borderline liability and
not borderline sometimes. I mean, there's a
and
then
also hustle.
He's got some
hustle.
Yeah.
Hustle can be a problem with him sometimes too.
Sure.
And again, it's
though
just
I thought the fat suit when he wanted out of Houston was hilarious. That was probably one of the funniest things.
Yeah.
So
it really, and again, it just kind of works down for me to where I can't stomach it over a period of time. It's like, okay, you have little bouts. All right. We
all have bumps in the road in our career, no matter what the career is. Sure.
But again, it's a history.
Yeah.
The resume that he's putting forth presents a certain product. And I'm sorry, especially again, it's similar to it's like the opposite of the Ben Simmons thing. Okay, great. You can play defense. That's incredible. Okay, yeah, you can pass. All right, Harden can pass. Okay, Harden can score. Harden can rebound. Harden can pass. All this great thing. You can't play defense, but also again, like Ben Simmons, can I count on you to be there?
Right.
When it matters most. Can I count on you to be the guy that can be a star? Like you're paid star money.
Yeah.
Let's make this 100% clear. I am paying you to be there 100% on the court when you're out there to do the damn job I'm paying you to do. And if you're not doing it, this is the only thing. This is, again, the only saving grace. And you talk about this whole like contract renegotiation shit. Like God, they'd hate my ass. Everybody would hate my ass. I mean,
the ironic part, the funniest part, I think, when we'll start to wrap up here is we went from Ben Simmons, who I think is the poster child for on the court and off the court a little bit, just the spoiled athlete. He's like the poster boy for the spoiled athlete. Kyrie's a different kind of a crazy,
but also a spoiled little.
Could be just as detrimental, if not more detrimental, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
KD, I think, has just been surrounded by crazy for so long, and his own thin skin and everything has.
But we also him to where in the video we talked about KD. We talked about the situation where he was going up, like sitting up into the GM's office and making demands and all this stuff.
The owner.
The owner. You're right. That's right. You're right. The owner.
He went to the owner. You're going to get rid of this guy, and you're going to get rid of this guy. Those two guys both being his boss, basically.
Again, go watch
his
that.
Boss and his boss's boss.
Go watch that video, and you will see exactly how I would have handled that conversation.
Right. Jarrett was very kid gloves, a lot of white gloves, and he was very standoffish.
That's
afraid.
That's who
he was
I
a little
am.
intimidated by KD, really. No. So yeah, definitely go hit that, and also drop us a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But no, legitimately, as weird as it is, Harden, yes, he still needs to put up or shut up, because you've gotten everything. You're where you want to be. You've got a good teammate, like a real star teammate with you. You've had stars before. Chris Paul is kind of a star, kind of decent little player. But you're there. Your buddy in the front office is there. It's time. But weirdly enough, of the other, when you put him in comparison to the other three, he's clearly the best of them, which is weird to say.
Yeah,
and I don't mean talent or ability. Like most of his stuff is, just
his
work ethic.
He's the least egregious. He's the least egregious, but bottom line, it is work ethic.
He's the partying salesperson who doesn't do his job. He doesn't work hard at his job, but he happens to land a big client.
He gets spurts at like strategic times, and it's just
that's him.
Yeah,
he's not a always good salesperson, but boy, just before the quarter ends, he always hits these 2 or 3 big clients, and they're able to pull them in, or the 1 or 2 clients really like him, and it works for them.
You know what? Because at least for this stage of the season, we'll probably have other put up or shut up videos here for other things.
Other people will volunteer themselves into this
type
of segment. I'm sure.
Yes, they will. Or other teams. We got some discussion around some other teams too that we didn't talk about in these 2 videos.
There'll be other teams and front offices that we will be
absolutely. I think that this isn't going to fix everything, but I think we'd be remiss not to call out a put up or shut up for the entire freaking NBA to put a kibosh on this current iteration of this player empowerment paradigm. I think it started out with good intentions and did have a positive impact when it first came out, but it's gotten too far. The inmates are running the asylum, and the people actually spending the money, signing the paychecks, need to grow some goddamn balls, both on the NBA management side of it and the ownership. And we need to just sort of, okay, it's gotten here. It's this experiment has gotten up to a certain point. Not necessarily saying that we need to put a complete kibosh on it, but we need to scale this down.
You need to bring balance to the force. That's basically what you're saying. Because I was going to say, before, for the other 50 years of the NBA, it went the other way too far.
Absolutely. Do not go back to that.
There will be. This is definitely the LeBron effect here.
Sure.
Jordan was being the leader of the NBA in his time, was also very famously known for, Republicans buy shoes too, and not taking a stance on off the court, but that happened on the court as well, as far as like in the meetings and the ownerships and stuff like negotiations and things like that. LeBron took a very different, and I'm not even saying it's a worse approach. Quite frankly, I think it's very good. It is good to, you know what? It's not a whole bunch of rich dudes, and you know what I really want to throw in there, but it's not just a bunch of rich dudes that are sitting in there.
Yep.
That get to make their people dance when they want them to. That's not good either.
Nope.
With that said, balance to the force.
Yep.
Somewhere between both of these is the happy balance, and that's what you need to find. You can't have your inmates running the asylum.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Good. At the same time, you shouldn't have guards beating people either. Just throwing it out there.
No. Like I said,
maybe we'll do another video.
Kind of going over that, kind of talking about the history of how the whole player agreement and everything else kind of got started. And I 100% agree that there's no way to go all the way back to that. And I think that's a good thing.
Nor should we. And I know you're not saying
but at the same time, there does need to be some kind of sense here that ownership, or at the very least, have people in place that have the ability to be able to come in and say that, no, we're not going to just bow down to every little demand you have. And if you have
not gonna take it.
If you have some little hissy fit
Right.
and decide to not do your job, there will be some form of punishment for that. And more than likely, really, what really matters is we're going to affect your bottom line.
Yes.
That's really where it boils down to. I think that's really it. There needs to be a certain modicum of professionalism established. And what we're going to say here is that we need to define reasonable, like, rails to this that we can put into the scope this appropriately, so that what we're going to say is that you have to be able to, maintain a certain level of professionalism in terms of what we expect out of you. And no, you can't just go up to the owner's office. No, you can't just do this, this, and this. No,
what other profession would that be okay? You're going to roll up to the president of your company.
Bob.
You need to get rid of my boss and his boss. They both suck.
I've had to fire. I think I'm probably at about number 25 now. It's not it's not an easy conversation. It's not something that's fun. But if you don't have the fortitude to have that conversation when it's appropriate, and or you don't have the actual, like, power to do so.
Yeah. This line of business is not for you.
No. But I mean, but you talk about, like, the agreements and, like, the things, like, where the teams are stuck to a certain degree,
right? Yeah,
that kind of thing needs to be. No. It's the fact that I don't have the power to do so because I don't even, like, there is no route that I could take. There, like, the way things are constructed, I can't get rid of this guy if I wanted to. Neither one of those situations are good. And I would argue, one, like, to your point, if you don't have the fortitude to do it, then don't go into management, especially higher level management. If you can't fire somebody, you got no business in that job. But also, if you find yourself in a position where that's your responsibility, but you actually have no power or authority given to you to do it, then that's a problem.
That's an issue as well.
And that's a situation where it's like, okay, I'm sorry, but I have someone here who's really literally not owning up to their part of the contract, Ben Simmons. Then guess what? I should be able to fire your ass and drop you tomorrow, period.
Right.
And if I can't do that, there's a big issue with the way things are constituted. It's just that simple. You shouldn't be able to get away making millions and not being able to do a key component of your job.
And again, I'll say this as the wrap, just the wrap up.
Yeah.
When we're talking about putting up or shut up, there is one magical thing that can happen that can make everybody, all of this be okay. It's all about that ring. Brooklyn rolls out there and gets a ring this year. All is forgiven.
I don't see how they can.
That's a different topic.
Yes. But you're right. Right.
If the 76ers roll out there and get a championship,
well, the 76ers especially, they're an easier fix.
Because a Harden, he was just hanging out with the wrong people, and he had his own. Again, I'll use him and KD as the. And of course, they happen to be the best two players too. They're of the four that I'm
salvageable. It's
I mean, talent-wise, like the best talent. Kyrie's close, but I put Harden above Kyrie. It may be because Kyrie's nuts, but I would put Harden above him either way. Just on strict talent, I would probably put Harden ahead of him. But because of all of that, it's like they just hung out with the wrong people and have gotten some Harden, due to his own, he's not exactly known as a hard working player.
Right.
He likes the club. I mean, I used to like a club. Clubs are nice. Lots of wonderful things in clubs. But, then you go to work. So it's, you grow up.
Hey man, if you're making that much money, the club can come to you.
Exactly. You can find a club. Yeah, clubs wherever you're
at. The whole
at.
reason why you're going to the club, like
those find you.
You don't have to go to the club.
This is the old days. This isn't me and you out in the club.
You don't have to go to the club.
Have you not heard of Twitter or Instagram or Facebook? Even if you want to go on that, never ever. DMs, never heard of that. You should check them out. They're great.
Yeah.
So I just say all of those things all of the issues can be forgiven. All about that ring.
Fair enough.
In other words,
fair enough.
Put up.
But again, I think that's where I think where the put up or shut up really comes into play, because these are things that they need to figure out how to resolve in themselves to even then be in a position to do the ring, to get the ring.
But that's how far. But I think that's sort of why this group, especially, Harden maybe to a lesser degree. I'm kind of pulling Harden out a little bit, but the Brooklyn group, because they have made such a spectacle of themselves. This is the person that's gone in the boss's office and, mooned them and danced on their desk naked. To make it up something.
On your couch.
You better, no couch. They've gotten to that level.
Yeah.
So that the only thing that can offset that, is the other highest point, and that other highest point being a championship. It's not like, well, if you make the playoffs, you're okay. Oh, because lesser offenses kind of, your balance isn't that far. So you're only off this much, and you get a 4-game win streak, get above 500, get to the playoffs, win a round, win 2, make the Eastern Conference Finals, get to the championship. Oh yeah, you got to win a championship. They've pushed it to like there's nothing.
They're really
there's nothing else other than you must bring a championship. There's nothing else.
I think other than that is to maybe a situation where they don't get that far, but on their route to doing so, they've proven that they can mitigate their issues and fix their problems. And then it's like, okay, if you guys come here with the same mentality and you guys got this far and you guys start off with that hunger and resolved all of this crap individually. That's the other thing too. It's not like, it would be one thing if it was like, oh, well, this person has a problem with this person, and then they just got to kind of work it out in the court. No, they each have their own isolated issues that have not necessarily anything to do with each other.
They cross the other, but not exactly. Like Ben Simmons doesn't.
It has nothing to do with Kyrie or KD. It's not, their problems are because of the other one.
Because
it makes it worse.
It like plays into KD's insecurities. Because he's not going to be in a championship and he's not going to be talked of as a champion,
right. Yeah,
makes him feel what he feels, and then he goes kind of a little bit loopy.
Yeah,
Kyrie
it definitely impacts.
Doesn't like not being talked about all the time, and now he's on a team with KD where he's not the best player again, and now everybody's talking about Ben Simmons, and he's kind of being what he is.
Yeah.
And so Kyrie's going to be a little upset that he's not the best player or the craziest. So like there's issues. There's issues that come up. So But anyhow,
I think
that's
right.
That's a good spot to wrap it up.
It is. It is. I don't foresee I think you're right. James Harden is you're talking about like a path to redemption. James Harden has the best chance.
And
Again,
maybe he's on that path already. He might have gotten on that path simply by getting out of Brooklyn.
maybe, and that could be that if that's what happens, that'll be another great video and another discussion that we can talk about and say, hey, look at this guy. I mean, look at what he's done, look at what he's been able to do. Maybe he's finally found home, and now he's actually able to be his best self. Fine. But yes, I think we gotta kind of take a look at some of these teams, especially as we start getting closer to like the end of year break, or probably maybe
get to
closer to
the NBA season is just ramping up. I mean, it's hard to take a. But I will say this, because you mentioned the word home, and if you've made it to this point of the video, clearly.
Thank you.
First off, thank you very much. Appreciate it. But you've also must be kind of comfortable with this, maybe feeling at home. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe for us. Make sure you drop a comment as well. Yeah. Join the conversation. We like to have the conversation. Please. Tell us ideas if you have ideas. If you have crazy trade scenarios. If you have what you think, some put ups or shut ups, some hot takes, whatever. Let us know, and let us know in the comments. We also have Discord and everything. We'll drop that as well.
Yep.
But so jump in there, let us know, and we'll go from there. So anyhow, Jared, you had something you were getting ready to.
No, I was just going to say yes. Thank you. If you guys have anything that you want to talk about, if you guys got any ideas on how you want to fix the NBA, or at least this ragtag group, at least the Brooklyn Nets. There's some other teams obviously out there that need to get fixed. But yes, absolutely. We really appreciate you guys. Love you all. Really, really, really appreciate anyone who sit this far. And with that, this is Getting Work. Signing off.
Later, fam.